Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know I haven't made a video in a while. It's been about since I think November, and I was debating on whether or not I was going to do this video, but I just wanted to come on here with transparency and be real because I think that it could really help somebody who's going through depression or just mental health issues or similar things that I've been going through. So I just want to be real, keep it open and honest, and let you guys hear what I've been through and how I kind of overcame it. So for the last 5 months, I was really badly struggling with depression, and it was such a dark time, and I didn't know if that time would ever end. Like, I felt like I was in a dark hole that I wasn't sure I'd get out of. Like, there was a big black cloud over me, and that's real. Like, it's depression. You know, honestly, for months I couldn't get out of bed. I was just in bed most of the time, like all day. I'd get up to eat and then lay back down. Struggled with showering just because I was that depressed. Like, I was still making sure I was taking care of myself to the best of my ability, but that bar was really low. Like, I was really struggling. There's something called anhedonia. I'll put on the screen, but it's like basically when you've lost pleasure or joy from any activity. Like, no food was enjoyable, everything tasted kind of bland. I was just eating to eat, and I gained a bunch of weight too. I lost a bunch of weight in Ghana, and I gained all that weight back, so I'm back to like being the biggest I've been. But also, I just couldn't find joy in any activities. Like, I'm not a person who watches a whole lot of TV, so I was really just kind of laying in bed with my thoughts on cycle, on repeat, just like ruminating about the past and how my life was and how I got to where I'm at now and how I messed up and if I'll ever get back to my true self again. And then just a lot of anxiety came up too, but a lot of ruminating. And ruminating is when you have a lot of overthinking, or you're constantly thinking about thoughts, negative thoughts, a lot of negative self-talk too. And I was beating myself up like, you know, how did this happen? Because I felt like I overcame, like I had done so much healing work, intentional healing, and got to this place of self-love, and how could I be back here, you know, back to the place of having insecurities and self-doubt. I felt like my whole identity, I'm sweating, was stripped from me, and I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know who I was, didn't have a strong sense of self, and honestly, I would sleep like 12 plus hours to try to like just escape living. You know, I'm a person who has very vivid dreams. I think that's one of my gifts, just to get messages and symbolisms in dreams. But it would be like watching TV, because I don't watch TV. So I'd go to sleep, have these vivid dreams, and it'd be some form of kind of like entertainment for me. But then I'd wake up like, oh, I'm still here, you know? And I think the days and nights kind of just merged. There was no difference. I wasn't looking forward to anything. I'm like, is life gonna get better? Are there still things to look forward to? And it's just real. So if you're going through that, and I had people tell me like, oh, things will get better, it's not gonna last forever, and I didn't believe them. Like, I really couldn't see things getting better, and I didn't know if they would. So everything just felt kind of pointless, like nothing mattered anymore, which is a really scary place to be in. And if you're going through this currently, I just want to let you know that things do in fact get better. It may just take time, but it's a season of your life that you're in right now and something that you're going through, but it's not permanent. So hang in there, things truly will get better. Yeah, I just felt mentally and physically exhausted, like constantly. And I think a big part of it was trying to regulate my nervous system. My nervous system was so dysregulated, and that doesn't help for healing and getting back to your true self and getting out of depression, you know? So yeah, literally nothing excited me anymore. I couldn't find joy in anything. I also wanted closeness and to spend time with people, but being around people made me feel uncomfortable because my social anxiety came back. So I had social anxiety for maybe like 3 or 4 years. but that's not like my innate personality. That's not how I grew up. I grew up very social, could talk to people, but after some trauma that happened in my 20s, social anxiety came up, and I literally made a video on here on YouTube on how to overcome it. And I found myself going back and watching that myself, because these last 5 months it came back, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that's why being around people was so uncomfortable, because I'm like, what do I say? What do they think of me? Are they having a good time? It was just awkwardness, really awkwardness, and a lot of anxiety. So it was like I felt like I couldn't connect with people, or I didn't have the words to say. And so I appreciate those friends who still spent time with me and understood that I was going through something and didn't write me off, or those people who still checked up on me even if I didn't answer the phone because I just didn't know what to say. And when social interactions would go bad, it would leave me in my head for days like, oh, I should have done this better, or I could have done this, or I wonder how I made them feel, just overthinking to the max, you know? And that's something that also has gotten better. But yeah, it was just this overall feeling of hopelessness. And then on top of that, there's like guilt for feeling lazy, even though you're actually suffering mentally. And I think because depression and mental health are things that you can't see physically, like if I sprained or I broke my leg and I had a cast, people would understand, okay, she's healing, right? We can't expect her to go on a marathon because her leg's broken. But when it's something invisible that you can't see, it's hard for not only people to have compassion for you, but for me, struggling with perfectionism or being hard on myself, it was hard for me to have compassion for myself and understand like what I was going through, and that it wasn't a choice. I wasn't choosing to lay in bed. I literally couldn't get out, you know? And so I think it's being kind to yourself and having grace. Like I did do therapy and a lot of therapy groups, and you know, they were recommending like have self-compassion, and it seemed like a bunch of BS to me, because I'm like, self-compassion, I should be better by now. What's going on, you know? But being kind to yourself really is important. And I find the way that I would talk to a friend, if I extend that to myself, it'd be a whole lot easier, or a loved one. You know, depression can actually affect your motivation, your identity, your confidence, your energy, and your relationships. I just kind of began isolating, and it made things worse over time, to tell you the truth. Now I'm coming out of that, thank goodness. And it was weird to feel emotionally flat or kind of numb, or like you couldn't contribute or add. Like I felt like my personality was gone, and I wasn't sure that I would ever get it back, which is scary, because it's like everyone kept saying, stop reflecting on the past. You're not going to be the same you that you were a year ago. You're going to have to build a new version of you. And it's hard, because I think family tries to be there, but they don't really know what to say. They don't know what you need to get better or how to help always, so they do the best they can. And it's just a difficult time to be, because it's one of those things where you have to kind of pull yourself out of it and help yourself. Like no one can get you up and bathe you. You have to shower yourself. No one can get you out for a walk. You have to, they can encourage you, but you actually have to put one foot in front of the other and do it yourself, and have the motivation to. So it's really a self job, even though community does matter and play an impact as well too. I think another part of the feeling social anxiety was feeling like I was hyper aware of myself and how I was coming across, or how I was behaving, or where I was looking. And all of it really truly does stem from insecurity and uncertainty of oneself, you know? And so because I spent so much time just in the bed, in silence with my thoughts, I'd get overstimulated easily by crowds or other people, because it was so much different from the norm of what I was doing every day, you know? And ironically, I was around people, but I felt the most loneliest I had ever felt when I lived on my own in my own place. I loved spending time alone, and I enjoyed my own company, but it was like wanting more support and not knowing how to ask for it, or what that really looked like, you know? And also not feeling like you can't connect with people is a really lonely feeling, you know, because then it's like you have this emptiness inside of you, you know? So honestly, let's talk about now how my healing started. It was no huge event that magically fixed everything. Honestly, it was like small moments of me doing things like, wow, that felt like I felt like me again, or huh, that's a really pretty sunset of like, okay, I'm finding joy in things again. It was like small moments where, okay, that went well, where I started feeling like myself again, that kind of compiled on top of each other. And healing just slowly happened. Like therapy helped, support groups really helped. And I had to be patient with the support groups too, because I think it can be hard when people are talking about an array of different topics that you don't relate to. But it's kind of helpful to know that other people are struggling too, and you're not alone, and that what's happening to you isn't so unique to the human experience. Like everybody's struggling and has their own thing they're going through, and that can sometimes make you feel worse or better, because it's not to minimize what you're going through and what you're experiencing, but it lets you know that people go through things and can overcome them too, you know. So some days started to feel normal again. It was weird, Wednesdays started to feel a little bit normal, and I'm like, okay, I feel like myself, and then I'd go to sleep and wake up and feel like crap again, and I'm like, dang, like I'm not back, you know. And it was hard because it takes a whole lot of patience, and I'm a really impatient person, and again, that being kind to yourself factor, you know. So I had to learn to stop forcing myself to perform normal. Like that goes back to being hyper aware of how I'm showing up around people, and I'm like, am I coming across normal? Are they thinking? And then half the time my mind reading of what I thought people were thinking of me or analyzing me was really just like social anxiety, but self-doubt. And a lot of the times it wasn't true because it was negative, you know, and there's no way to really know what people are thinking either. And so I could ask my friend, like, am I coming across this way? Or I'm sorry if I seem quiet, I'm just like overstimulated. But the truth is we never really know what people think. And I think now where I'm at with my confidence being back higher and me feeling more like myself, my true self, I care less what people think. You know, I'm more comfortable embodying my authentic self and who I am at the core, and in touch with who that is, you know. And a big part of it was just accepting that recovery takes patience and time, you know. My therapist kept saying, like, you're healing from an injury, just one that you can't see, you know. So it's like you gotta give yourself time to get better. And that was hard because when you're going through depression, it feels like it's the end all be all. Like it feels like things will never get better, and that's just how life is going to be from there on out, you know. And honestly, even the way that I like related to my peers or others when it came to like future things of marriage, kids, or dating or working, like a lot of things just seemed foreign and removed. It was like really strange how, I'm sorry, my hand's getting tired, that's why I keep moving the camera. Strange how my perception and perspective of life just really shifted. And it's almost like now I see the world like through a clearer lens, and I can be more optimistic about life and things, you know. And so also working out is a big part. So after I work out, I feel really good after. I think it's the endorphins are released after you work out, and I just get this natural high. Used to, I don't know if you can say it on YouTube, garden, I guess they say, and I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that for a while, and that used to bring me like a piece of being in the present moment, not focusing on the past, not focusing on the future, just being in the present moment. And then I found out that mindfulness is something you can practice to get that without substances, you know what I mean? And so I think a big part of it is being present, you know. And so literally this is my 3rd week working out 3 times a week at least. Last week I did all 5 days of the week, and today is my 3rd day of this week. I went on a hike on Monday, I went to the gym yesterday, and I'm going on a hike today, which is why I'm sweating. I wanted to take it at this view spot in between my walk. Movement honestly helped rebuild my confidence and just feeling good about myself. You know, laying in bed for hours and days at a time, it had gotten to the point to where I was laying in bed so much, my back was starting to hurt because I was laying down so much. Now, you know that's a problem, but it was like I couldn't get out of bed, you know? So exercise also helped me emotionally and mentally. I feel like it's a good outlet to get some of your emotions out. And again, just the natural high you feel afterwards is amazing. Creating small routines help me feel balanced again too. I think that the hardest thing is to create a routine and discipline and structure when you're depressed. So it'd be small, you know, like, okay, I'm gonna get out of bed, brush my teeth, wash my face, and get dressed, even if I'm not going anywhere today, just to feel better, you know? And it was difficult. It was really, really difficult. So I think now, just feeling better, I have more desire to do things and get out of the house and get back into things I love, like, you know, creating content for YouTube and doing social media, or meeting up with friends and going outside and getting in nature. I love nature. It's like I forgot though. And going to the gym. So it really takes small steps. And honestly, getting out of bed at one point was just a win for me. And so acknowledging those wins, you know, and that all goes back to self-compassion and kindness. And I think the first moments of like genuinely laughing again, or having a deep conversation with a friend where you feel like connected to another person, you know, feeling moments of excitement again and joy, feeling my personality slowly returning, even if it was for small moments in conversation of saying something kind of funny and witty and you and your friend laughing about it, you know, my confidence returning. I think that honestly, I mentioned gaining weight. And I gained all my weight back, and I think not feeling comfortable in my clothes and like feeling like I didn't have things to look cute in, and kind of again like I lost my identity and sense of style. I've been working out consistently for 3 weeks and I haven't really lost weight yet, but it's less about a target weight and more about feeling good about myself and in my body. So of course I do want to lose, you know, but it feels really good for that not to be the main purpose and reason as to why I'm working out, you know? It's more so about moving my body and feeling good and doing something good for myself. I used to really be into yoga too, so I'm trying to get back into that and things that I enjoy that once brought me joy, but also accepting that we do change and things that you once enjoyed won't remain constant in your life, but there's some things that do. So the social anxiety improving, like being able to talk naturally again, feeling present, and getting my identity back felt really good. And I don't know if that, my understanding of it is that my nervous system got to a place of being able to be relaxed and calm enough that my true self was able to surface again. That like my true self wasn't gone, it was just under trauma and depression and suffering and pain. And once my nervous system began to get more regulated and I could have more stability and structure and internal peace, that part of my identity kind of came back, because everything happens for a reason. And I got to this point of questioning, like, why God, why universe, why me? You know, I do believe in karma, and I'm like, what did I do so bad to have my life go down the drain like this and me be struggling so much? You know, I felt like I had done so much work. So there was also this anger piece of it, but disappointment and hurt of like, why? You know, why am I back in the same? It felt like I had taken 10 steps forward just to take 15 steps back, you know? And I kind of had to have peace with it, of like, okay, I'm here, I'm right where I'm supposed to be for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and to trust in the process and my journey and kind of surrender a little bit to life. But it feels really good to know that all the work that I've done on myself wasn't for nothing, because I feel more like myself than I ever have in the past 5 months. So it feels good. So if you feel like you're losing yourself, have patience and know that with time and healthy habits and routines and structure, you can get back to that version of you. Honestly, I'll share with you guys my first good day after months of never feeling like I'd be the same again. A couple Sundays ago, I saw on TikTok this girl was having a Pretty Pink picnic parlay. And it was this group of Black women meeting up at a park to have a picnic, and the themes were pastel pinks and purples and it was a great way to meet other women. And I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I was feeling like I wanted to do something at the time. This was like a month prior, and it was full, so I got myself on the wait list. Maybe 2 days before the event, she sends a message like, 3 people can't come and they're donating their tickets. If you want to come, let me know. The event was like $45, so this is a way for a free ticket. So I'm like, okay, universe, okay, God, is this a way for me to go to this event? Does this mean I'm meant to go? So I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know about my social skills. Am I going to be awkward? This is going to be a good time. I'm like, let me just go for it, right? So I reserved my spot. I already had a pastel pink dress to wear that was on theme to be cute. And so I ended up going hiking with my cousin that morning, and I hadn't seen her in over a year, so that was good. And then I went to the event and I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. I even rated like how I thought the event would go versus how it went to kind of help me look at things from a different perspective. And when I tell you guys, I got there and social butterfly, like I could talk to everybody. I felt really comfortable. There were a few, like, everyone's trying to get to know each other, so I think everyone was kind of like putting themselves out there. Even though I went by myself, there were some other people who went by themselves too. And I think it was supposed to be like 40 women, maybe it was a little less, and we were all kind of sitting at tables or on the grass. And I found myself kind of carrying the conversation at some points at my table, and it felt really good to connect with people and just be in community. It was a super positive event. Everyone was super nice. A lot of us exchanged social medias, and I could see myself hanging out with a lot of the women there another time for sure. So that was the first like full moment where I was like, okay, maybe I'm back, you know. I took pictures when, for 5 months, mind you, I was not trying to take no pictures. Just felt beautiful and confident and sure of myself and more like I knew who I was again. So after that, things kind of just went uphill, and that feeling kind of maintained. I went to another event, a yoga event in Oakland, where we did yoga, meditated, and watched some of the Avatar, Last Airbender. And so yeah, those are just moments, you know. And it's crazy to think that being social is such a big piece to my core of me feeling like myself again. But if you think about it, everything in life revolves around people and interaction. So to be in a place to where you're overthinking every interaction, even phone calls with family members, people you love, friends, it's like anxiety doesn't care whether or not you're family or a friend, it shows up. And so to feel like I'm avoiding people and was avoiding life, it was like, it felt like life was going on without me. Like life was continuing and going on, and I was watching it go by. I felt like I wasn't actively participating in life, whereas now I feel like I am, you know. It was a really weird feeling of 2026 coming in and not feeling real. There was a lot of depersonalization too, of like not feeling connected to things and life not feeling real, or like just far removed from things, that now I feel fully grounded. And like it being May, which has been a great month for me, by the way, and recognizing where I am at. So to not have to overthink and like freak out and have anxiety about every human interaction again is so freeing. It's so freeing, and it makes me feel like I can do anything now, almost. Like I can go to events, I can go to the grocery store. Like I'm not overthinking about little things anymore that once didn't feel so little. They were huge, you know? And so yeah, I just wanted to share that update. That's kind of been where I've been. Just know that things always will get better, you know? So just so you know, no matter how much self-work you do on yourself, and healing that you do on your healing journey, depression can happen to anyone, right? It literally can happen to anyone. And it's common, so don't think that you're alone in what you're going through. You're not missing out on anything while you're getting your life together. So I know if you see people going to day parties, going out, going to concerts, doing all these social things, and you feel like, man, I'm really missing out. You're not. Everything happens for a reason, and you're in this season to work on you and improve you right now because you're supposed to be. So Don't feel like you're missing out on life. All of that will still be there. There's always going to be parties. There's always going to be events going on. Take the time to really take care of you and get back to you and get in touch with yourself, and you'll be okay. Like and comment, share, subscribe.